Starcraft 2 from the playoffs of IEM Katowice 2021. A couple Terran players who you'll be happy to see, but maybe in the top right, a little surprised. He always surprises himself and everyone else, but making it through the group stage, we have Big Gabe, HeRoMaRinE. Unfortunately, he made it through the groups to face arguably, well, almost certainly the toughest Terran opponent, and one of the hardest opponents you could ever possibly get. But this highlight match, we'll see what he has to offer. And in the bottom left, of course, you know him. If you don't know this man, you've probably never ever watched StarCraft. And thank you for being here. Like and subscribe. I occasionally watch StarCraft, so hopefully you enjoy. But it's the man, the myth, the Maru. The man who likes building barracks wherever he pleases, microing units, and making it look easy. And speaking of which, Maru has gone with the conservative proxy racks. He's making it look good. HeRoMaRinE, Big Gabe, has not named that because he is the biggest of Gabes. Just absolutely colossal reference photo. And that's scaled down. He had to fit him in the camera. But can he see and realize what this is? I don't even know this. How much does Maru commit to this? And in TVT, usually openings are pretty figured out. It's a bit of a chess match. You know what units they can build, what units you can build. I mean, they're the same ones. Most players will go with Reapers and Hellions into some sort of starport tech. But HeRoMaRinE, he susses it out. He realizes it smells a little weird. Maybe a hint of cheese. And this is just to get Maru his second Reaper a little quicker. The SCV, potentially to body block. Building a Marine is, well, HeRoMaRinE. And Maru, I think, well, he knows this was scouted. The SCV saw it. He can expect little to no damage if he commits. So why take the risk? HeRoMaRinE opting for a CC. Maru built his on the low ground. One thing this gives him is map control, because while he saw the Rex, HeRoMaRinE doesn't know what's coming up behind it. Is it going to be an all-in on one base, or is Maru just going to expand? Either way, he can't take the risk of moving out with his units for quite a while yet. So Maru, just the either way, it was going to. That's the problem, especially with Maru. Either way, even if the Rax gets scouted, it's good for him, as long as he plays it right. It wouldn't. The only way it wouldn't be good for him is if he tried to go up the ramp and fight the same amount of Reapers on the high ground. Which I don't think Maru's microing his way out of that one. Maru with a third CC. You're not. Is that legal? I know Maru and 3 CCs go together almost as well as Maru and proxy racks, but that feels a little greedy, especially in this matchup where starports exist for both players. A cancel. Maru realizing that, yeah, maybe I need some units. Yeah, maybe you do, Maru. As the Reapers and Hellions of Big Gabe come up, he's not willing to risk it for the same reasons Maru didn't, going up that ramp. Grenades thrown out, less for damage and more for interrupting and splitting up the units. HeRoMaRinE retreating. You should be able to get out before the Hellions, which are slightly... Oh, well, watch out! He still hasn't lost anything, but that's starting to change. We'll just pretend it was a masterful bait here. Well, Maru taking the high ground and turning what was an okay situation about even, and maybe even good for HeRoMaRinE, into a bit of a loss there. 3 Reapers to, wow, you only killed 1 SCV and 1 Marine. Felt like there was a Reaper in there. Something. That's, yeah. Not great. Maru now has 3 CCs. He's got a starport. He's got 2 rags with stim, well, not halfway, but just started. It just kind of seems to come together for him. Of course, he put the work in, and it was all mapped out from the beginning, but it feels like it just... It ends up being good, but that's 10 years of StarCraft 2 experience there. Especially with Terran, where you have to really spend time and plan ahead because of how Terran production works. Like, you can't just, boom, I have 10 gateways, I warp in 10 zealots. You have to get the add-ons, you have to build many key upgrades, use very different types of units between Ravens and Bio. So Maru is going into that Bio, the Marine Tank Force, the classic. And HeRoMaRiNE's doing the same. He's got a 3rd command center of his own. I think at this point, we're realizing, both players realizing that you're probably not going to kill the other. And that's part of why you can get away with going 3CC so early. HeRoMaRiNE's moving out here. He's building Vikings, and that's one thing Maru won't have as much, if any, production of. Because he went for the later starport. He's investing in Ravens. The Ravens are good at spot defense, but if he loses air control, then HeRoMaRiNE can use that to push in with his tanks. Or he can just go as well. Interference matrix on one of the tanks. There's one further back. What does it... Yeah, but auto turrets dropping down for both sides. The interference matrix keeps the tank immobilized until it can be targeted and killed. A good push from Big Gabe. He finds himself in a good position. Drives away the 3rd orbital. Maru on the ropes here. There's not that much energy left. A couple of the is there still any Vikings on the ground? No. Maru decides, I'm going. He's got stim done. He uses it. Auto turrets as well. The tanks taking their time sieging. Great split out of Maru. The target fire, though. Big Gabe. The damage. Maru down to 60 supply. Where Maru has no units. He's got 1 tank. He's got enough energy for 1 auto turret. And the boys must be pulled. The target fire is there. Maru losing 23 SCVs and counting. It's just the boys. It's becoming desperate. HeRoMaRiNE stepping forward. And at this point, essentially claiming victory. Maru still has... Like, the Ravens are still alive. The Vikings are not targeting them. That feels like a slight bit of an oversight. Because the Ravens are the most dangerous units over time. Any spellcaster. The Ravens are what allow Maru to survive. But the damage has been done. Oh, wait. Okay, wait. Now we gotta take stock. Now that we're done punching each other in the face for a while, we try to figure out what Maru has left. The 2 Ravens survived the fight. One was taken out. He lost so many SCVs. 34 SCVs. He's down over 30 right now. 37 SCVs because HeRoMaRiNE's had no problem mining it at home. The one thing Maru does have is the 1-1 done in combat shield. So those upgrades are something he invested in earlier, and it's part of the reason he took so much damage. HeRoMaRiNE has plenty of Vikings, and I'm hard-pressed to see him taking damage at home, but he didn't have the barracks production. He's slapping on reactors now on barracks 2 through 5, so he just doesn't have that many Marines. That is the weak point in his defense, is that he's very reliant on these tanks, and the Ravens are still alive. So that means the tanks can be disabled. Or maybe just auto turrets as well. Maru just goes. What? He stims. I guess he's got energy. He's going to work into this angle. Maru finds one area that isn't completely covered. There are some tanks. He boosts and drops. The Ravens are trying to get involved. Maru working with what he's got. HeRoMaRiNE has a 4th command center that might not quite finish yet. This is a surprisingly annoying place to dislodge here. that one Marine, that HeRoMaRinE, if you would. Surprisingly annoying. As Maru gets in and he... Well, it's still... Okay, there you go. So Maru gave it a shot. He got out before losing too many of his units. He keeps his tanks alive, and that's super important. And he still has the command center, so he's back to 60 SCVs. The upgrades have evened up as HeRoMaRinE has been able to get an armory. He's been able to catch up in those, as Maru was focused on making sure he didn't die for a while. And unfortunately, HeRoMaRinE, since he didn't lay down the hammer, since he didn't actually outright kill Maru, I was on the edge of doing the caster GG, and it did look it. But Maru had one tank, he had some SCVs, he had some Ravens, and he had a dream. And unfortunately, his dreams become nightmares for his opponents. It's not over. Like, it's not over. What am I saying? It's not over for HeRoMaRinE. He's way ahead. But Maru has taken what is nearly an outright losing position and made it. He's significantly behind. Make no mistake. But he has the units to fight with. He still has a Raven intact. He's been building Vikings to try to get air control. And in fact, he has more Vikings and still has his Ravens. So he has tools. But HeRoMaRinE is ready to rip them out from under him. The Marines moving into position. A fourth command center done from Maru. 2-2. Closing in for both sides, but not that relevant in this fight. Oh, wait a second. Double interference matrix. HeRoMaRinE didn't have the rest of his tanks sieged. 2 will go down. Those are mistakes you don't want to be making at this stage. He can afford it, but he can't continue to afford it. The lead is slipping here. He needs to deny a fourth and find an... Oh, he's just going. The tank... I mean, that is... It's not a metaphorical, it's a literal tank line. And with no Ravens or anything else in front to really crack it open. He's denied the base on the left side, but you can't... I don't care how many Marines you have, you're going to have a tough time stemming into that. Oh, not again. Again, Maru finds 2 tanks hanging out to dry. He snaps them up. It's becoming less and less of a lead as time goes on. HeRoMaRinE has now lost more units. Oh, this is a very Maru move. Oh no, watch out. Maru's so ready for this. HeRoMaRinE really wants... And you can't blame him. He really wants to just get in there. But Maru is getting closer to the 200 supply that HeRoMaRinE just got to. If he doesn't try to retake air control, he's got to try to kill him with his Marine tank. And that is less and less likely here. Oh no, the tanks. The tanks on the tanks. HeRoMaRinE just stims. You never want to be stimming after. It's a mess. It's a... No tanks on the left side. Oh no. More tanks hung out to dry. HeRoMaRinE just stumbles into a fight. And the lead now is all but evaporated. He's still got upgrades quicker. He's still got his 4th base secure, but HeRoMaRinE has bled out now. 13-6 tanks. This is just... Maru is outclassing him. If you don't kill him, he's still alive, I said, with some of my best commentary to date. Interference matrix targeting down, keeping the Ravens alive. Air control going to Maru. Ground control going to Maru. Tank count going to Maru. And this game has shifted. Like, it feels like this game shifted a few minutes back. Like, it was in the numbers, it didn't. HeRoMaRinE still had a lead. He had a better army. He had more economy. But it just feels like he's intimidated by the existence of Maru. And many people are. Just because he has such a cute and happy demeanor and always seems to be smiling doesn't mean he won't murder you. And it really looks like HeRoMaRinE, trying to end the game, has now left himself in a very tough spot. Because the supplies are even enough, and even though he's going to have the Marine upgrades, it's about air control. Like, at this stage of the game, solidly 4 bases, Maru's air control is way more important than Marine upgrades. Because the majority of the army isn't even Marines anymore. The age of Marines has passed. He's not called Hero Viking. He's not called Hero Raven. He's called HeRoMaRinE. And they're quickly becoming obsolete. There's a dog! There's a dog! Who left their dog on this map? Okay, the dog survives. The Marines do not. Maru has a 5th. HeRoMaRinE does as well. He's gonna fight. Oh, that's a lot of... He went for the Ravens. He added them on. He had the production. So now the Raven count is 7-3. HeRoMaRinE still lacking a little in Vikings. He stemmed some of his Marines to get through the rocks and open up the map. But he didn't decide to just go for another round of Marine tank. He's trying to take air control, which is required. But that many Ravens, here we go. Try to keep track. It's a bit of a mess. Interference matrix on 4 tanks. Only 1 left on the back line. HeRoMaRinE cracks open the defenses. There's still tanks off to the right. Wait, what happened to his Ravens, though? Oh my god, he lost so many Ravens in that fight. He's lost 9 Ravens. It was a good fight. It was a good battle. Ignore this. But he's not keeping his units alive. In each of these fights, he's losing so many important units. Alright, well, he just dunked some tanks down. This is awkward. Okay, alright. I'm pretty sure Maru has more Vikings. HeRoMaRinE trying to wedge his way in here. He's taking the rest of the bases. He's going quantity over quality, which, as long as he succeeds in denying bases, can work. But here comes Maru. He accidentally picked up some Marines in the medevacs, and that was an uncharacteristic mistake out of him. With those Marines, maybe he could have broken out of this. Yes, 8 more Marines might have made the difference, because this was a very thin fight. But there's still 4 tanks for HeRoMaRinE down there. Still a lot of Marines out on the field. Maru down to 180. HeRoMaRinE maxed out again. Anti-armor missile. Dorito dusting Maru. Moving in towards the base on the left. A much more vulnerable location. The tanks will siege up, intimidated by the planetary, as many have been and should be. Oh, Maru. The tanks! How many tanks must die within 4 feet of this location? The answer is, we don't know yet. Oh, but here comes Maru, splitting and stimming. HeRoMaRinE gonna lose some of his tanks. The tank count, just trench warfare now. Maru's down to 12 Marines. Maru is essentially playing mech at this point. Technically he went bio, but he's essentially playing mech. HeRoMaRinE zones out with auto turrets. The tanks will siege, but the target fire gets the planetary. He gets the base. And that's what's important. He scans another command center, which doing some push-ups, but it might be a little too late. Is building armor done? No, that should die. HeRoMaRinE retreats from this location. The damage done. Don't want to give Maru too much time. Any amount of Vikings you lose here is probably worth more rather than the command center. But here comes HeRoMaRinE using his namesake. Whoa, 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 okay. HeRoMaRinE's lost, well, both players have lost over 100. I thought he would have lost more Marines, but he's really starting to work the map. Big Gabe doing a good job of rotating around. And while he might have lost only slightly more at this point, it looked bad before, but he's starting to throw his weight around, and it is a significant amount of it. Upgrade starting to finish for both sides. Maru gonna drop Marines on top and get them up close and personal. A couple more tanks falling for HeRoMaRinE. Maru just seems to have tanks out there. Okay, I don't know what was that SCVs? Oh yeah, he's freeing up SCVs. Slaughtered. I never know why they don't just kill their SCVs. It's much more dramatic to throw it. Anyways, a huge fight. Interference matrices, Dorito dust, anti-armor missile. HeRoMaRinE gonna get cleaned up, but he did get the base. He's forced to retreat. I guess it's just an intimidation tactic. You could just kill your own SCVs. It wouldn't take that long. But it's much more intimidating when you throw them at the enemy with an obvious disregard, and you're knowing your opponent will realize, oh my god, he's throwing SCVs at me. Am I that far behind? So Maru held on by, like, a raven's prayer, and, well, that's about it. He held on by 1 or 2 Vikings and a raven's prayer. HeRoMaRinE really tried to end it, which cost him a lot. It cost him most of his lead, but not all of it. Because one thing Maru hasn't been able to do at all is attack. So even though HeRoMaRinE wasn't able to end it, he was cost ineffective. He lost a lot of tanks and a lot of ravens. Maru only now has found the opportunity to put his units anywhere that isn't directly next to his bases. So that has been the advantage that HeRoMaRinE has been working off of. But here is Maru with his Sky Terran fleet. Meanwhile, a drop. Nobody paying close attention to this one because we got a lot more going on here. If that drop could be devastating. If HeRoMaRinE just... No! Select our army! Big Gabe with the big F2. Oh, that drop could have cleared out the base, and that could have been a game changer, but this will definitely be a game changer. Anti-armor missiles, turrets everywhere, blood all over the floor. What left of it? Marines on the way back. Maru with air superiority. And with it, a victory in this fight. The first time he's able to move across the map in 15 minutes. He takes a crushing victory. And that many Vikings and tanks, the Wings of Liberty special. All the Ravens died, besides the 12 HeRoMaRinE has. Oh my god, his army is just Ravens. Does he have... He has high-sec auto-tracking, he has building armor. They're actually relevant here. That's just a lot of Vikings, though. The anti-armor missile does no damage. It just makes it easier to deal it out. Maru with an intimidating tank line. The Vikings maybe not realizing there are no Vikings. I think he's realizing now, but here come the auto turrets. Can the Ravens save the day? He's got a Raven's Prayer as well. Marines coming in, interfere, anything he can throw out, he's slapping down. But it's not enough. Maru has the Marines now. He's pushed him all the way back to his starports. Anything that comes out is immediately shot down. And Maru showing why he's oftentimes the best Terran in the world. Maru showing what it takes to hold the line. And Maru, from about as close as you can get to it being BM to not GG, drags it back all the way to the finish line. And, well, unfortunately, Big Gabe struggling. A highlight match. Make sure to go check out more on ESL. But I hope you enjoyed my experiencing that. Like and subscribe and leave a comment. And is TVT the most painful or the most intelligent mirror matchup? Tell me, my Terran players. Thank you for watching. Good luck and have fun.